A workplace is like a country. The problem is the leaders. It's the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. The character of the leader has the capacity to color the entire culture. In a workplace bullying environment, there are basically two kinds of leaders. Either the bosses are narcissists themselves, or they are stage 5 raving codependent doormats and enablers. If your boss is the bully, I always say, start looking for another job. It will never get any better. One of the points I make about workplace bullying is that everybody knows what's going on. Anyone who feigns ignorance about workplace bullying is a pathological liar. Everyone knows who the bullies are, who the target is, and what the bullies are doing. And yet no one ever does anything about it, including the weak leaders who pay lip service against it. Another point I make about workplace bullying is that it is the direct result of two words: weak leadership. Need I say more? The one person in the building with the power and the authority to address the problem instead cowers in his office and fiddles while Rome burns. Weak leaders are promoted precisely because of their weakness. They don't threaten anyone. No one's intimidated by stupid people. Weak leaders are weak because of their emotional illiteracy. Despite advances made in the field of human psychology over the past 200 years or so, we are living in the emotional dark ages. Our emotional illiteracy is at an all-time high. Fuck your feelings. That's pure class. Keeping it classy. Why so classy? People have empathy fatigue. If they don't do anything about the problem, that's because they don't know how to. The best they can do is feeble attempts at employee retention, like bullshit internal newsletters that no one reads, team building exercises and activities and field trips, mountains of free food, all the nasty processed American junk food full of known poisons, toxins, and carcinogens that you can eat, and my personal favorite, Starbucks cards. Americans don't need Starbucks cards, they need a fucking raise. When I came forward about sexual harassment at the tutoring center and HR told me to shut the fuck up, bitch, my boss left on my desk, get this, a greeting card. Well, that makes everything okay, doesn't it? That was the best that she could do. The minute I saw it, I picked it up, did not open it, and put it through the shredder. And then I washed my hands. The weak leaders in a workplace bullying environment may be incapacitated by their own mental health condition, like some kind of addiction, for example. I come from a long line of alcoholic bosses. I've had so many alcoholic bosses, I have lost count. My other boss at the tutoring center was an alcoholic, and my bullies would spend literal hours after work gossiping about me within earshot, and I know he heard it. All he had to do was place one foot on the threshold of his office and say, I don't like the way you're talking about Claire. If you want to talk about her, you can clock out and take it off the premises, but you can't talk about her at work because I don't want to hear it. That was all he had to do. And yet he did nothing. My boss at the nonprofit for domestic and sexual violence was morbidly obese. And every time she ate lunch, she had to go to the bathroom, but for some reason she didn't want to use the bathrooms that we had on the premises. So she would announce to the entire office that she felt sick. I'm not sure that's sickness. I think it's called a bowel movement. And she would drive home to use her own bathroom, which would take 2 to 2.5 hours out of her day every day. And if we had a meeting in the afternoon, we all had to sit around waiting for the ham beast to get back from her crap fest with her toilet. I shit you not, no pun intended. You can't make this stuff up, people. The jokes write themselves. And that was how this woman with no university education pulled over $80,000 a year in a public organization that took $6 million a year from federal, state, and local government, and that is what passes for leadership in our organizations. We cannot expect leadership from people who cannot govern themselves. The bosses in a workplace bullying environment remind me of old school journalists who back in the day would include quotes from climate change deniers in the interest of objectivity when every scientist on the planet unanimously agrees that climate change is real and it is the result of human activity. When it comes to workplace bullying, there are not two sides to the story. There is only abuse. Advocating for laws against workplace bullying is all very well and good, but those laws need to be enforced. Workplace bullying will not end until someone who is in a position of power and authority does what he is supposed to do, and that is to protect his employee. A real leader would not enable the bullies by trying to resolve the problem through mediation. A real leader would simply tell the bullies to shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. It would take a very spiritually strong, enlightened, evolved, ascended white lighter and light worker who is educated in narcissistic abuse to finally do something about workplace bullying. But spiritually strong people do not get promoted. They get eliminated. I hope that helps. Take care.